So I'm going to show you how to tie the Disco Biscuit. It's a carp fly that I designed. Essentially we found that the deer hair patterns, which is what most guys use when they're fishing for carp, they just weren't as effective anymore. Sometimes they sink, sometimes they float too high, whereas this pattern, it stays the same in the surface film all the time. So what I've done here, and this is how the fly gets its name, is I've cut a little disc of foam, and it's got two little tabs on either end that I can tie in. So just going to attach the thread onto the hook first, and then we'll attach this little foam disc. And it's a slightly odd fly to tie. There isn't too much actual tying that goes on. So first things first, we tie the disc in by one little tab at the front here, and you properly bind that down. Okay, just check it's going to sit correctly, which that will. Okay, just apply a good amount of super glue to the bottom there. Sorry, I'm applying that to the top of the hook shank. So take your thread down, and then you then tie in the disc by the other little foam tag that's at the end. So effectively it was like a little disc with two tags of foam. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so when you are happy with that, I take my thread and just bind it over this little foam disc. This is going to look really messy initially, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so once you're happy with that, just apply a little whip finish, and then you can remove your thread. Okay, so the next stage that you need to do is we need to coat this foam disc in this material. So this material is a bit similar to furry foam. So what I need to do now, I just remove that from the vise, and then we just hook that, put that hook through that piece of material. Okay. Then we put this back in the vise. Okay. You then spin that around. Now it's back to the good old super glue. So cover all of that foam disc with super glue all the way around. All the way under there. You want it absolutely covered. Okay. So you pull that up until it's tight. Push the eye of the hook through that material. Okay. And then we pull that down. And that glue should stick to the material. It will certainly start to stick anyway. Okay. So really pinch it around the edge of where that foam disc was. When you're roughly happy with that, normally I would leave this quite a while to dry, but we're just going to go for it today. You then want to take your scissors and roughly cut round this disc here. Don't worry how it looks. We're going to sort all this out. So, if you see a bit that isn't that well stuck, you can go in there, just add a touch more glue, just to see if you can get that to stick. Okay. Now, you can finish this fly just purely with glue, but this is the way that we originally did it. So it's just slightly weird. This is a bit of GSP thread and a needle. So poke this up here, and we just tie this off. And then effectively we go around the edge and we just sew this up. As I say, you can do this purely by gluing it, but this is the original way that we did it, and it's probably the best. And this fly has been copied, but no one's actually ever really done it correctly. Okay, you can do this quite roughly because we will add a bit of glue afterwards too. Okay. This bit's just annoying me. Okay, so we're nearly there. Okay, well then just take that GSP thread to the eye of the hook and just whip finish it off. Okay, do that once more. Okay. Now then, what I've got here as well is I've got some poly yarn. In fact, I'll show you. Got some yellow and some orange poly yarn, and some 6-pound mono. And we're just going to tie a knot to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like a standard blood knot. Okay. Just chop the tag piece off, and then just chop that so it's like a little small indicator post. Now then, this is a baiting needle that carp fishermen use. So we take that, we poke it right up through the centre, hook that mono on, pull it down through. Just before we tighten this up, just add a little bit of super glue in there, and then just pull it down in tight. The reason for the sighting post is when you're fishing for carp, you've normally fed some dog biscuits in, so this is what the fly is to imitate. This fly looks so similar to the normal dog biscuit that you've thrown in, you can't see when the carp eats your biscuit because it just looks exactly the same. So if you put this little tuft on there, you can notice the difference between your fly and the loose feed that you've thrown in. So what I'd do now, just take that round to the back, and we just throw in a couple of half hitches. Pull that tight, and just add a little dab of super glue. And what I would then do is I've got some, in this pot here, some slightly watered down liquid fusion. We then take this and just run it through round on the edge of this fly, and it just totally secures it. Okay. So once that's dry, if it feels like it needs a bit more glue, you can just add some more on. But essentially, that is the finished Disco Biscuit. It is the best carp fly out there, without a shadow of a doubt.